We are back with 843 TV at Schiller and Hamilton, and earlier we talked about golf cart laws. Now we're going to be talking about gun laws in South Carolina.
Obviously another topic that's important
Yes,
to people in the
definitely.
Lowcountry. A lot of folks have guns, and so David is an attorney here with our firm, and he handles criminal defense, and he's had to handle a few of these cases involving the unlawful carry and unlawful use of a weapon. So I wanted him to come and kind of clarify that for folks today.
Yeah. So what are some of the laws involving possession and ownership?
So there aren't really many restrictions here in South Carolina for ownership of firearm. You have to be 18 or older to purchase a rifle or a shotgun, and 21 or older to purchase a handgun and own a handgun. You don't have to have a concealed weapons permit here in South Carolina. However, most of the issues that we deal with, come from people transporting their firearms without a concealed weapons permit. So if you have a concealed weapons permit, you can have it in your car, on your person, without really any restrictions. If you don't have a concealed weapons permit, most people, this is what gets a lot of people in trouble, is because they'll have it under their seat, in a door, in a center console. But the law requires that people actually store those weapons when they're transporting them either in a locked glove box, in a trunk or luggage compartment, or a container that has a locked integral fastener. Obviously, a simple traffic stop can turn into an arrest where you're facing charges in general sessions. And even law-abiding citizens don't realize that they're breaking the law when they transport that weapon. Yeah. So you can also have, there's no restrictions on having the firearm on your personal property or on your business. If you own a business, you can also get permission to carry the weapon. But one of the biggest changes, there have been some changes to the concealed weapons permit laws. South Carolina now allows for you to carry on your person openly, provided that you have the training and the concealed weapons permit. Right. Whereas previously you had to have it concealed on your person.
Yeah, so see, one of the things that, I've got 4 adult children, and I took them to the firing ranges early, and they love weapons and they have their own, but we'd always get into this argument about, well, I'm allowed to have it in my possession, I just can't go buy one, Dad. I said, well, there are some other rules that you need to be aware of, and we'd always kind of argue about, well, Dad, let me borrow the gun, we're just going to the firing range, we want to go shoot. Well, that's great, but here's what you need to do. So I think a lot of people don't know that. In some of the cases that we get, people have their weapon just sitting out because they're going from their house to the firing range or to go somewhere. It's not like back in the day when we were in school, you pull up in any high school, you'd see a pickup truck with 2 or 3 rifles in the back of the windshield.
Times have changed greatly in this regard, have they not? Right, exactly. So really the issue becomes when you're transporting it sounds like.
That's one of the biggest issues.
So what are the charges that you see?
So some of the most common charges that we see, like we mentioned, are the unlawful carry when people are transporting it in an unlawful fashion.
And what are those penalties?
So the penalties for the unlawful carry is actually a misdemeanor. It's handled in general sessions, though, because it carries up to a year in jail and or $1,000 fine. And so some of the other charges that come from the illegal use of the weapons compared to the transporting, you have... if you're a felon, it can actually prevent you from carrying a firearm and diminish your firearm rights. And if you're a felon, you can be charged with an unlawful possession, which is actually a felony that carries up to 5 years in jail and or $2,000 fine. There's also pointing and presenting, which is another one that if you're not doing it for a lawful purpose of self-defense or defense of others, if you show a weapon or brandish a weapon, you can be charged. That is also a felony, and you can be charged up to convicted for 5 years in jail and or a fine at the court's discretion. There's also the illegal discharge of a firearm into a dwelling or a vehicle or a boat. That actually is a very serious offense and carries up to 10 years in jail, and I believe up to a $2,000 or $1,000 fine on that one.
The gun laws in general, nationally, locally, have been such a big topic, so it's good to have some of this clarification.
And this is only a short segment of what's actually out there. There are some other, there's some other laws.
This is the condensed version, but there's also civil liability as well. If you don't secure your weapons, people come over to your house, your teenagers get a hold of your weapon, and another child gets injured or shot, you can be held liable for not properly securing your weapon. So those are some things that people need to be aware of. Make sure you protect your weapons and keep them secure. Or you could have civil liability as well.
You hear, unfortunately, a lot of stories in the news where there's accidents and so
Right.
forth with that. But so much we could talk about the subject about gun laws, but we always enjoy coming here because you have such great insight for the community and do so many things to support the community. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
And thank you for watching 843 TV, where communities come to speak.